Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to do an update or a part 2 to a pretty popular story I covered back in May, which is titled, My Girlfriend Disrespected Me on Vacation, so I Left Her Behind. And guys, as a recap, because it's been like 5 months, that's about the guy who's a doctor who's 45 years old, doing very well for himself and all that, and he had a girlfriend for like 3 to 4 years who's also a doctor, who is absolutely, to put it mildly, unhinged. Drama queen, turmoil, all that. And that whole story was about pretty much, hey, should I end it with her, and what do you all think, given how she was? If you recall, they were on vacation. There was some drama, yet more drama with her on the way to the airport. They got to the airport, she took off like a bullet. He went and got on the plane, and they were making announcements. She didn't show up on the plane. Next thing you know, boom, she got left behind because he wasn't sticking around. And guess what? She blamed him. Big drama fest. She wanted him to buy her another ticket home. She wanted him to pay for her hotel and all that. And of course, it's just a big freaking mess. And this chick was always something with her. Drama, drama, drama. And of course, I speculate she stayed at the airport on purpose just to create a fight. And a lot of you thought that. And it ended with a whole big SHIT storm, her wanting to move out and breakups and all this type of stuff. And obviously he wanted to know what we thought. And I told him I thought he was crazy to stay on a relationship with her. Life was too short. And by the way, she was extremely good looking. It was an example of the hot crazy scale. And both myself and all you guys told him to get rid of her. I mean, he's 45, he's in his prime, he's a surgeon. I mean, come on, why screw up a good thing? Well, here we have an update as to what's been going on in the last 5 months ever since the video. This update is going to be 2 sections. The first section is more details about her and her life and all that, and more details about the two of them together, which is a big mess. And then what has been going on since, an update on all that. And I'm proud to say they are broken up, thank the Lord, because I have to say that spoiler now, because otherwise when you hear more, some of you guys are going to feel inclined to leave. They are broken up. But holy crap, did it take a lot to get him to see the light. And hopefully this guy's story here will help a lot of you guys out that do relationships not get involved with these types, and how people can develop addictions to damage people. So his story continues on. He says, Hello SSM. Thank you again for telling my story to the guys and giving me all the well-deserved smacks. Well, brother, there's more coming in this video. I really got so much of what I needed. However, I'd like to share with all of you what happened between Amber and myself was really not normal or the usual case. This is because I did some digging as to why we had this crazy dynamic, and I believe this can spread awareness to all the bros out there not to fall into the misfortune I found myself in. Dude, if anybody listens to your story, they will definitely think twice about allowing themselves to be in a relationship like yours. Talk about turmoil. A little context here. Amber, a very appropriate name, by the way, calling her Amber. You should just call her Jessica Amber, or Amber Jessica. Amber grew up in an unstable family. She was close to her dad and not to her mom. Her dad was offed, if you will, when she was only 6 years old, and her mom abandoned her and her 3 brothers. Oh my God, that is terrible, and not her fault. That could really screw somebody up, so not her fault. However, being a psycho adult, that is her fault. Well, she was adopted by her aunt, but wasn't given the same care and attention she got from her dad who passed away. Fast forward to 4 years ago, she was my student in medical school. You want to talk about a cliche, the professor banging his student. Before we met, I was done with relationships and getting married and family. I would date casually, though. We started dating towards the end of her school year, and boy, was I in for a big surprise. If you swore off relationships and getting married, obviously you had a lot of bad experiences. It probably led you to my channel, because this dude's been watching me since the beginning. Based on that, why the hell did you get involved with her? Not to mention your student. Smack. I mean, yeah, that shit happens, but what if that had an impact on your career? The pussy isn't worth it. Yeah, she's 16 years younger, and she's hot. Great. There's plenty of them out there that aren't your students. But anyhow, well, she seemed to be this caring, loving, dedicated girl who would be very attentive to my needs. It's called the honeymoon period, dude. She came out as this ideal girl to me that I fell in love with her, and I was thinking of settling down. I, however, gave myself at least 2 years to vet her properly. She even helped me take care of my dad, who was very, very sick at the time until he passed away last year. I'm sorry about your dad, dude. I've been there. I've been very grateful to her for that. As the months went by, I noticed a red flag, then another, then another. She would make a big fuss about nothing. Non-issues would turn into very big fights. She was very jealous of every other attractive girl I knew. She'd feel insecure if I were teaching at school because maybe some pretty student might steal me away from her. Hello? That's how you got together in the first place. She knows her kind. But all this crap, this jealousy and the drama, that's unacceptable. You're 45. You're a surgeon, for heaven's sake. You don't have time in your life for that shit. And you said you didn't want to do relationships or get married. And here you find yourself in another Rockies, putting it mildly. My veterinarian was this sweet, pretty girl that whenever I had my cats checked out, she'd come along and give her the eye. Oh, hell no. If you got yourself a great vet, and that's key for any animal person, don't let your asshole girlfriend screw that up. Come on here. Amber also did not have many friends. Real ones at the very least. Her social media had a lot of audience restrictions, which I pointed out to her, but she went into a fit instead of explaining it like an adult. Another big thing was she wanted to know wherever I went and whoever I was with. Though she denied it and just asked for occasional updates as to my whereabouts, her actions meant otherwise. She even installed a tracking app on my phone and tablet. Dude, what the fuck? When I discovered those and brought the issue up with her, she went into another drama episode and said that she was just concerned about me and it helped with her anxiety. What a steaming pile of crap. No, she's trying to control you. End of story. Oh, and by the way, Doc, here we go. Smack. After all this stupid ass shit, why the hell are you still with her? Well, we're all going to see, in my opinion, this guy has an addiction to her. And frankly, clearly you have a type. Again, I don't care if she's 16 years younger. That's great and all, and physically beautiful, but in the inside, she ain't beautiful. Amber also was insecure about a lot of things. There's a fucking surprise. First was her appearance. She always would criticize other women who she felt threatened by. She, or as in I, would buy a lot of skincare products and fancy clothing to try to make her look like the centerpiece of attention whenever she would enter the room. She also wanted a nose job because she wanted to look prettier with a better nose. She also kept on bugging me that she wanted to get fillers, which is a big no for me. Who's paying for the nose job? And I know you said you're paying for clothes and skincare and all that, and I'm guessing, I believe that you guys were living together and you were probably paying for the majority of things. What a great deal for her. And she brings a lot of shit in your life. You can't have a future with someone like this. Someone like this, their craving for attention, their narcissism is never going to stop. Ever. And it's always going to be a thorn in your side. That's putting it mildly. More like a spear in your side. And oh yeah, you can't build wealth with someone like this because they're always going to spend money on clothes, jewelry, cars, everything to make their appearance look great, to be the center of attention, as you said, for people that really don't matter. Ever. And again, why aren't you getting rid of her? Remember, guys, this is a story that you can all learn from. Whenever she would hear rumors about her, she could not just leave it alone. She had to engage to try to fix her image just like a whiny little brat teenage chick. I was told to just ignore it and stop feeding the trolls, but she always couldn't help it. Bullshit. Yes, she can help it. She chooses not to help it. Remember, you're 16 years older than her. You're almost a generation older than her. Night and day levels of maturity. Difference. Now let me get started about how we would fight. She would usually start it. Well, anybody who's been in a relationship, statistically, you're going to know that usually is the chick that starts it. Manufactured indignation about what some RPs would say, I usually would try to de-escalate. But no amount of calm talk, reassurance, or examples in good faith would calm her down. The tensions would then escalate to a shouting match, and sometimes she would even get physical with me. That is completely unacceptable. Seriously, bro, we're getting physical? What is she? You have to show up in the hospital yourself? But her getting a sharp object or something, or throwing boiling water at you or something crazy because she's having a tantrum. All the tricks of the Narcissist Handbook were used on me. Gaslighting, projection, threats to ruin me, and do self-harm. Darvo, stonewalling, and many others. Whenever she was mad, it was, of course, my fault. Okay, I think I could speak for the audience here when I say, what the fuck was the matter with you and being with someone like this? Were your parents like this? Was there a lot of fighting and turmoil in your household growing up? Or you just love drama? And again, the pussy can't be worth it. It can't be that good. And oh yeah, guys, if I need I remind you, she's a doctor too, a licensed physician. People depend on her for help. Their lives depend on her in some form or another. And this is how she behaves behind closed doors? And oh yeah, she's in the medical profession. That's a whole other can of worms that we all know about. Doctors, nurses, and all that. Bro, what the fuck? There's a point that you stop blaming the gal and you blame the guy for staying in a bad relationship. But again, I'm convinced you're addicted to her. That's not an excuse. Or at least addicted to drama. If I disproved her, it was the way I said it, or the mood she was in. There was no winning or reasoning with her. Because you can't reason with an unreasonable person, and you're not going to win an argument with a fucking woman, let alone a crazy woman, because they're always going to just throw emotion in it and come at you in all these different ways. This is why you walk away. Or better yet, throw them out. When she was mad at me, she was really mad, and everything that would come from me would be no good or would fall on deaf ears. She would continue to escalate until I threatened to walk away, which in retrospect was the cue that she had to flip the switch. When I would say I'm walking away or show that, she would be so sorry and would cry and express shame for what she did. She would then beg me not to leave and would promise not to hurt me again physically or emotionally. When I'd eventually cave and agree not to leave her, things would turn out to be good. She'd be back to idealizing me until another cycle would happen again. Notice what he said when he was finally done all the crap. He was ready to walk in one form or another. And what happened? Boom. That's when she stopped her fucking shit. Well, I tell you guys about the power of walking away. But you gotta fucking mean it. You've now trained her to realize that you can say, I'm walking away. And she'll be so sorry. But no, deep down, you're not going anywhere. That works once or twice, but beyond that, she knows the deal. Rinse, recycle, repeat. Well, this went on and on. Smack! Dumbass, keeping up with that crap. Part of my mind was telling me to get the hell out. Part of me wanted to stay and give her a chance after chance, or even do better myself for us. To keep my promises, because they really do mean something to me, my mind was not at ease in many occasions. The cognitive dissonance was eating at my brain. I later noticed some changes in my mental health. I was usually tired for no apparent reason. I got sloppy in planning things, parties, events, and meetings. But I could still do my usual functions, work, errands, dates, trips, and so on. For God's sakes, man, if you don't do this for you, at least do it for your patients. This shit ain't gonna help you. Imagine you had a big fucking drama fest with her and you gotta go into surgery the next morning. People's lives are in your hand. And oh yeah, as a cat lover and animal lover, how your cats are around all this fucking drama? There ain't no way your cat's like her. Your cat's probably take off and hide under the fucking bed when her ass is around and all that. And by the way, I can't imagine what she might do in a fit of rage to your poor cats. If you ain't gonna do this for you, do this for your patients and your cats. Jesus Christ. Well, to continue on the night of my last email. Okay, now he gave a background on her, and it's ridiculous, and him. Now we'll see where things picked up, where things left off back 5 months ago after the whole plane incident. Well, she apparently arrived later that night at my house, barging into the bedroom where I was. She was yelling and starting packing up her stuff. Since she said she broke up with me already, I just went out to let her finish packing and eventually leave. She followed me and started calling me names and that my dad would be ashamed of me for being a coward. Oh, no, she didn't. Insulting your late father. Oh, hell no. Then she started hitting me. I would love to say, return that in kind, but we all know then the police would show up. When I did not budge, she called my brother, who intervened. Back to your fucking brother again. She keeps calling your brother, because she did that in the last video. Your brother needs to click, so don't fucking call me, bitch. Apparently, she told my brother and his wife some of the things I shared to Amber with confidence to justify why she was acting the way she did with me. Aside from all the other problems, now you can't trust her. Does this sound like the ideal relationship material? My brother told us to just sleep on it, but I kept on telling him that I was not having it anymore and I wanted her out. Well, good for you. For days, she was begging and pleading, promising again not to do all those nasty things to me. Unfortunately, I caved again, and the cycle kept going on and on and on and on. Smack! What the hell's the matter with you? Stick around, guys. I know you're annoyed. I don't feel bad for you at this point, man. You brought this on yourself. You're addicted to her. You're addicted to drama. I was starting to question myself about going in and out of these cycles. That maybe I was getting crazy, that I would want to fight so she could idealize me again, which is batshit crazy. Who wants to live a life like that? There's a good question. And so I had the light bulb moment. What if the thing I had with her was not normal and could not be handled like the usual way most people deal with problems? I did some research on personality disorders and talked to my psychiatrist friends. So while yes, it makes sense to explore a psychological issue with her and yourself, in a weird way, it's kind of giving me the feeling that this is a way to kind of justify your actions. Well, it's not me. I got to blame some psychological issue as to why I'm being a dumbass staying with this chick. All the information I came across led me to believe that she had borderline personality disorder or covert narcissism or both. I highly agree with you about that part, dude. But I'm more concerned about why you are staying with her. Yeah, she's a fucking wacko and an asshole, amongst many other things. But we're working on you. And that I was in a trauma bond, which is like an addiction, because I would long for the highs of the idealization that she would give me after a big fight. I told you this is an addiction. Part of me wanted to absolve her because she did not mean those things she did. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. If she didn't mean them, she wouldn't do it. I don't care. It was just emotionally immaturity and uncontrolled insecurity, which I kept on telling myself. I was thinking of bringing her to therapy so she'd be able to move and control those insecurities, urges, and moods. Newsflash, someone who doesn't think anything's wrong with them is not going to go to therapy because then they have to potentially deal with the fact that something's wrong with them. Narcissists think everybody else is wrong but them. You'd have better luck dragging in a fucking pissed off bull into a therapist's office than a fucking covert narcissist. Well, months after the airport fiasco, things were going fine. Until they don't. Fights were rare, and she was becoming more behaved, for the lack of a better term, even though she did not go to therapy. Shocker, you couldn't get into a therapist's office. I even proposed to her a couple months ago, and we were happy. Smack! What the fuck, dude? You proposed to her ass? Does she sound like someone that could be a good wife? A good mother? Can you imagine having children with her? Can you imagine that bitch pregnant? Can you imagine her in the fucking delivery room pushing that baby out screaming, "You did this to me!" And then her around kids? You want messed up kids? What the hell, man? Jesus mighty. He says, until my mom disapproved of us getting married. Well, high five to your mama. Listen to your mama. Well, this did not change my mind about her, though. When Amber found out about it, she started spiraling out of control. What, she wasn't already out of control? Anxiety attacks, fights, shouting, degrading, hitting, everything was dialed up to an 11. Drama and chaos every single day, several times a day. Dude, I don't feel bad for you. You fucking deserved it. I know this is people, I can't think of the term, but I've been labeled this before where I blame people for bad shit happening to them. You're blaming the victims. No, you had multiple opportunities to get rid of her. I even told you 5 months ago to get rid of her. All these guys all over the world told you to get rid of her. Nope. This time, the fear of her staying became greater than the fear of leaving her. I had to go if I wanted to find myself again. I finally said no and stood my ground. Thank God. It's about time. When I was reading this at first, my God, dude. Though it really hurt because of my trauma bond. Smack! You mean addiction? I don't want to hear your psychological terms. You were being a dumbass. And you were addicted to her. My brain took charge this time. This was a border I had to enforce finally because she kept on breaking it before without real consequences. That's the point, man. There were never any consequences for her. Ever. It's like dealing with a child. Kids do shit, and you tell them not to do it, otherwise there are consequences, and there's no consequences. Little kids will keep doing shit. All you parents out there can back this up. Or all you guys that were once children and remember what it's like to be children, knew. If there were consequences and mom or dad or grandma enforced them, if grandma told you she's going to whip your ass with a fucking wooden spoon or hit you with a fly swatter, my grandma did that, and you did something and she didn't do that, you're thinking, ha ha ha. Same thing. There's no consequences for actions. For a week, she would beg and she would plead, promise to change again and again and go to therapy. But I wasn't having it anymore. As Jordan Peterson said, fool me once, it could be an honest mistake. Fool me twice, then that's on me. Fool me a third time, and that's intentional. She finally left the house enraged, cursing, threatening to ruin me. I was just glad that she was gone. At first I felt hollow, but then I felt fine. There are some moments I still miss her, but I keep on reminding myself of why I left. No, you miss the idealized version of her. There's no way you can miss the actual her. Part of me still longs for her. Smack! Fucking crazy dude. But then I rationalize that's all part of my trauma bond. Smack! Addiction. I've been going to therapy ever since the breakup. Dude, so there's therapy that you go to, and there's SSM therapy. I guarantee SSM therapy, a 25-minute video for me, and all the brothers commenting on this is going to do you far better and not cost you a penny compared to going to the shrink's office. God's sakes. There are times I get anxious when I remember her, see a picture of her that I did not dispose of. Get rid of all your stuff of her, dude. I cleaned out my library of our memories and I shipped all her stuff out. I've been going to the gym a lot more than I used to. My best bud is a fitness instructor and teaches Krav Maga and BJJ. Hitting the bags, grappling, and lifting more than my usual has really helped. Good. Yes, join Krav Maga. You get to hit shit. That'll make you feel better. Us guys, when we're pissed off or stressed, we like to break shit. Women don't understand that. I've had girlfriends that I may lose my temper and get pissed off, and I've been known to kick a couple things, which I shouldn't have done in hindsight, but yeah, we feel better when we break shit when we're pissed off. We could definitely improve upon that, but I'm just saying. But I still have problems whenever I'm alone, especially when I'm going to bed. I also have occasional anxiety. I only heard it from Amber 3 weeks ago, and when she called me, it was more of her shouting, insulting, degrading, and more of what she's been doing to me. Why are you taking her calls? Why haven't you blocked her? And all that. Unless there's a party that wants her to come back. And that part, you're crazy. Well, she's been telling her friends and doing a smear campaign against me. And she's been telling her friends that her therapist says that I'm a narcissist and that she's the victim of my malicious intent. I know better to engage her. No, do not engage her. See, she's the narcissist. It's everybody's fault but hers. I've been careful, though. I've kept screenshots of our text battles and audio recordings of several fights, which she does not know about. Those will be put to good use once your smear campaign goes out of hand. It sounds like it already is out of hand. I've been quiet, suffering in silence. At least I have my close friends and family who have been supportive. Well, I'm glad you got good friends and family who have been supportive. That's great. You need that. But are they also being good friends and family by telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear? And frankly, again, high five to your mom for telling you not to marry that wacko. He says, bros, there are crazies out there, and I believe that many of you have had experiences like mine where you thought that if you just tried harder, loved more, give all you had, she would finally come around. Many of you kept on going even though that inner voice was crying to get away from her. Well, a lot of that's called white knight syndrome. You've been the white knight doc. Borderlines and narcissists had this habit of idealizing their targets to get you hooked to them, which is then followed by devaluation where they cause all the chaos. The cycle will keep going on and on and on, and with repetition, modifies your nervous system, which becomes the trauma bond. You're addicted to her, and also you've been a Captain Save a crazy bitch. Many of you have been in trauma bonds that have made it very hard to move on. This has been the hardest breakup I ever had been in. Well, you said yourself you have a history of... Okay, let me rephrase that. You did not say you have a history of this, but you told me in the beginning that when you initially swore off relationships and marriage, clearly situations and scenarios, bad experiences caused you to have that thing before you met Amber here. So I think you obviously are drawn to these types. I think you're drawn to chaos. So it isn't just the trauma bond with her. I think this is something about you. That's my interpretation. And I still wonder about your family life growing up. Was there a lot of chaos between mom and dad? Is that something that seems normal to you? I mean, really, I'm not trying to be a dick here, but I'm trying to get to the bottom of this, because I have a hard time believing this is the first crazy chick you've been with. A trauma bond is treated like an addiction. Yes, it is. The withdrawals are very nasty indeed. I sweat, shake, and hyperventilate. I can feel my heart pounding and my thoughts would race. I hope I get out of this very soon. Here's another fun fact. Narcissists cannot be cured. There you go. So if you stay with her, it's not going to stop. So I have no reason to ever go shoot myself in the head just to be with her. Oh, and Amber doesn't have any student loans. She had a scholarship. Be safe, everyone. A scholarship was wasted on that nut job. You know she got it because of her childhood, and her childhood is terrible, and that's not her fault. What is her fault is how she behaves as an adult, and the chaos she brings anybody that comes close to her. Big surprise, she doesn't have a lot of friends. And God almighty, any patience that she could screw up. So brother, there you go. I am happy that you're done with her. Finally, thank the Lord. But my question is, why the hell isn't she blocked yet? That she's able to reach you in some capacity through texts and voicemails and all that. Which tells me that you still haven't accepted the fact that it's over with and all that. You need to block her. If you can't do that, change your freaking phone number, for heaven's sake. Block her on all social media, all that. And if she's doing a smear campaign against you on social media, defamation, you can use that against her. Get a lawyer. He can do a cease and desist and go from there. But if you have any recordings of her, things she said, any copies of things she's done, save it. Use it. You're going to need it. And this ain't going to stop because you've been with her for 4 years. Narcissists cannot handle being rejected, okay? And if you haven't done so already, in your house, your condo, your apartment, get some fucking cameras, at least in the place as well on the outside. And my God, watch your back. And those poor cats, watch them too. Who knows what she could do, just come showing up and kicking down the door and taking your cats, and I don't even want to think what she could freaking do. I'm thinking of a goddamn movie, what is it, with Michael Douglas? Fatal Attraction? You haven't seen that movie? Watch it. Jesus. And bro, so I think this 25, 30-minute video is going to do a lot more than your therapy sessions. So for God's sake, I'm glad you broke it up with her, but my God, you need to dig into your past, why it is you're drawn to someone like this, why you stay, and beyond the trauma shit, because guess what? I'm convinced this isn't your first crazy bitch you've been with. Because again, you said in the beginning of the video, we all heard it, you swore off marriage and relationships. There's a reason why. And then you got with her. There's something there. It ain't just about the pussy. It ain't about the pretty young girl, 16 years younger, and she was idealizing you as the professor and all that. Yeah, it feels good and great and all, but come on here. So, man, take it one day at a time. Spend time with people that care. Listen to my advice. Block her in all ways, and take it one day at a time. I'm glad you're in Krav Maga. Well, I think you were. BJJ, do that. Get out there. Let out the energy and all that. I don't encourage you to wreck shit just because you're in a bad mood. I have had a bad habit of doing that when I was younger. I've improved upon that, but us guys, you punch something, you break, you kick over a trash can, you feel better, but that's still kind of childish. And take it one day at a time. And expect the unexpected with her. It ain't going to stop anytime soon. And for all that sacred and holy, when it finally dies down, and it will die down, if you find yourself inclined to get into another dating situation, relationship, think long and hard about who you get involved with and question why you're drawn to a certain type. Otherwise, this is going to happen again because we all do have a thing about us that attracts people into our lives, for better or for worse. So I'm rooting for you, Doc, and also do it for your patients, for heaven's sake. So you're going to be okay. So anyhow, there you go. Now, guys, I urge you all to share what you're thinking in the comment section. The doc needs to hear this. He needs some tough love to smack some sense into him. That's why he wrote, so that's what he's going to get. And hopefully we can help. And I want, if you're going to write in again, Doc, a part 3, maybe in like 6 more months, I want to hear one thing only, that she's out of your life. You can share some stories about some crazy shit she may have done to get your attention, but I don't want to hear about you getting back with her or giving her a second chance or listening to sad, sappy music, listening to fucking Sarah McLachlan or somebody or some fucking sad-ass song, and you're missing the good times with her, even though I can't imagine that, and getting back with her. I don't want to hear about any of that shit. If you get back with her, don't write me. I only want to hear about you moving on from her and maybe some crazy shit she's done because we can all get a good laugh. Because we all like the crazy bitches here. We like hearing their crazy stuff. But no getting back with her. Alright guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let him know what you think. You're doing him a favor. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.